It's time to unleash your passion and be the woman you've always wanted to be. Hey guys, thanks for joining me this week. I'm super pumped and excited to introduce you to our guest. She is an amazing woman with an amazing story. Her name is Eloho Efemuai, and she is the creator of Heart Song Live Radio. So Eloho, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Monica. I'm so delighted to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. So I did a little reading, as I always do, on everyone. So talk to us about what you have going on. I mean, you have Heart Song Live Radio.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that to start with.
Okay, so 5 years ago, let me backtrack a bit. I am a gospel singer. So I have released 2 studio albums, and I was involved heavily in organizing concerts yearly for 9 years. Until COVID. So we couldn't do it to the 10th year. But in 2016, after I had released 2 studio albums, I wanted a platform to be able to share my message, because I've got an inspirational message. Everybody can be great. Everybody can do everything. But I wanted a platform to share that message. And I also wanted to give upcoming artists as myself the opportunity to share their message with the world. And obviously, because they're upcoming, they wouldn't have the resources to go on the big station. So I thought, you know what, I've built a little audience for myself. So you can come on my platform and play your music, get interviewed, and share whatever it is that you had going on. So it was an online internet radio for 5 years, and it was amazing. I think the first year or so, we hit 10,000 listeners. I was like, no way, where did they come from? But as with everything, there's been ups and downs. People we started with left, and I was sort of left all alone by myself. And it was at that point I said, now we're going to know if truly this is your vision, your dream, your passion. It was somebody else's that you borrowed. And so I just stayed consistent for 5 years. I have a slot on the radio that I do every Monday to Thursday morning from 6:30 a.m. And my friends keep wondering, how do you do it? You're up every morning and you're so alive, So as I was doing that, I had this dream and desire that one day we'll go mainstream, but I didn't know how it was going to happen, until was it March or May this year, I get an email to say, hey, we are Edinburgh DAB, because I'm in Edinburgh, Scotland. We're Edinburgh DAB, and we're looking for Christian radio stations on the internet, and your name came up. And so we'd love to invite you to be on our multiplex. Initially, I thought it was a scam. I'm like, who are these people? So I started to investigate. I asked my mentor in radio if he knew anything about them. He said no. So I said to the guy, can you give me a call? Give me a call. So he called me and he talked me through the process. He told me I needed a license from the official communications company here in the UK. So went in, did all my research, did everything I needed to do. And I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to apply for it. So I applied, and it took about 3 months before Ofcom approved the license. And then we got our license to broadcast on Edinburgh DAB. So Digital Audio Broadcast Network means people can get us in their cars while driving to work and at home, not just online or just on our app, And for me, that was like, wow, after 5 years, what if I had given up, the first year or so, about 2 years in, when everyone disappeared, And there's more coming, there's bigger things. In fact, I had a conversation today that it was mind-blowing, it was empowering, but I'm like, okay, how's this gonna happen? But that's the journey, that's the story, and there's so many people who have been impacted. Sometimes you don't know the people you're reaching, because I get an email every week to say, oh, so and so number of people tuned into the radio station. Sometimes I'm like, oh no, when is he going to move on? And other times I'm like, yay. But I realized something yesterday during the show. Some guy sent a text in and said, can you play this music for my children? They absolutely love it. And send a message to my wife. So it occurred to me that it appeared as one person listening, but there were 3 other people. So there were 4 people listening, and you never know the impact. And so that really blessed me yesterday. And yeah, so that's been the journey and the story. Yeah.
That is amazing. And I didn't know that that you were a singer and that
But
you
yeah,
had debuted albums. So that's really amazing. And, I mean, what I think I know what the key ingredient is to your success, but what would you say over the last 5 years is your key ingredient that what's a word or something you can think of that really pulled you through? Because as an entrepreneur myself, and my business isn't 5 years old yet, it's just 4. 3 of those have been trying to recover from this pandemic. you
yeah.
know it's been really hard, and so I know the word that I'm thinking of, but I'm curious as to what your word would
Yeah.
be that really pulled you through.
Yeah, for me, I mean, there's like a couple or 3 words, and it will be my passion, first of all,
Mhm.
consistency, not giving up, not taking no for an answer, and just believing in myself, even when other people didn't believe in me, and continue to show up, because I am there. Whether there's 1 person, whether there's 50 people, I am there, and I am showing up like there's 50,000 people there. If you get what I mean, not just,
Yeah.
oh, it's just 1
Yeah.
person to do it. No, yeah. So I still bring
Mhm.
the same energy, the same love, the same passion to it. So I'll say commitment, consistency, not giving up, and passion. That's 4.
Yes, those are all really good. The word I was thinking of was perseverance. And I think that I
Yeah.
have used that word so much, like over the last 4 years, more than I've ever used it in my life. Like when
Yeah.
I started my business as an entrepreneur, that's the word that has really stuck with me. We have to persevere. And you're so
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You don't know who you're impacting. You don't know exactly who you're reaching. I'll get messages in that say, hey, when I need to pick me up, I go to your page or social channels and I look because I'm a quote poster and I love inspirational things that
Oh,
really
I'm
motivate
gonna love
people.
you then.
Yeah. And so, I think finding inspiring people like yourself is such a diamond, right? Like there's just, not, especially in today's world with everything we've all been through, it's been really hard for a lot of years for
Really,
a lot of
really hard.
people.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has, and it's been exhausting. And, when I was reading about you, I saw that you're passionate about helping and empower creatives,
Mhm.
which is where the music comes in, right?
Yeah.
And women of faith to unleash their inner confidence
Mhm.
by, beating stereotypes and creating their 360 aligned path. So talk to
Yeah.
me a little bit about how you do that, because that's
Okay.
right up my alley.
Yeah. So first of all, let me say why I had to get into that niche. Because as a creative myself and a woman of faith, I was when I started producing music, people used to compare me to other artists and musicians. Oh, you don't sing like that person, you're not like that person. And it held me back for a very long time. My first album, I was scared. I mean, for those who knew me could feel it in my voice that I was scared, because I was unsure. Would people accept this? Would it be good enough? I had zero confidence. I was doing stuff. I was organizing my concerts, but there was just this thing inside of me that felt I wasn't worth it. It was not good enough. And I had to become somebody else, to be able to do all the amazing things that I wanted to do. So I struggled and I battled 4 years until 2020. It was during the pandemic. I said, enough is enough. I'm tired of going around this circle. There's so much to me. There's so much in me. And there's so much I can do with all the things that God has blessed me with. My friend called me a polymath or something. I can do so many things, and I said enough was enough. I was going to write a book and tell my story. And so I titled my book, You Are Not Everyone's Cup of Tea.
I
So
love
yeah,
that.
it's on Amazon. It quickly became a bestseller. You're not everyone's cup of tea. Stop doubting your potentials. And I thought that, okay, and that's something about me. Once I get through any pain, any challenge. I want to help the next person. And so I thought, okay, Eloho, you've battled with the stereotypes. In the Christian community, I was too worldly because I love photos. I love looking good. So every Sunday you find me taking photos and posing for the camera. Some Christians found that outrageous. They found out, oh, no, you need to tame it down a little, you know. And then for those who were not Christians, they're like, they just found me weird, you know. But when I got through all of that, I said, there are other women out there like me who have so much potentials in them, but they're being held back because of these stereotypes. As a Christian woman, you should not do this. You should not be here. Yeah. Or as for those who are not Christians, are like, she's weird. I don't get her. She's taking this Jesus thing too much. So I thought, you know what? Some people are dealing with those stereotypes. They're battling with their self-esteem. I can help them. And so I started to do what I knew to do then, which was, okay, you can show up on social media. You can tell your story. You can be your authentic self. You don't have to try and be somebody else. So let's work together. I can help you. This and this and this is what has helped me. So that's where it began. And then obviously I've evolved over the years. Initially, I'll tell you something. What I started to do while I was teaching people about social media, some of them couldn't do it for themselves. Like, okay, Eloho, you do it for me. So I was people's voices, and then people will be commenting on their, oh, wow, you're doing great. I remember one of my friends who says, all the nice things you see about me, it's not me who's doing them, it's Eloho, you know. And so people started to reach out. Can you help? Can you help? Can you help? But managing people's social media was a lot of ask. And so I said, okay, I'm going to change my strategy and I'll teach you what to do and you go do it yourself. So that was where it all started. And I started to grow in it. I started to evolve in it and began to teach people. I used to call it the 7 C's, clarity, you know, who do you want to be? Who do you want to speak to? What's your key message? What is your why really? Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it just to grow a large following or do you want to make an impact, you know? And so we did that, talked about community building because for some of them it's like, hello, you get so much engagement on your Instagram and your Facebook. How are you doing it? I was like, just by being myself and speaking to you, speaking in the words that you would resonate with. So I started doing that. I began to teach Instagram because they were struggling with Instagram and all of that. Oh my goodness. I was even going to put a post on LinkedIn. So the whole of 2020 and half of 2021, it was all focused on helping people grow an engaged audience on Instagram. And then, like I said, I pivoted again and say, okay, you know what? My why is just to inspire you to unleash your inner confidence. Stop doubting your potential. Be visible because the greatest opportunities come when you're visible. I got featured on the UK's Channel 4, one of the big channels, their food program called Come Dine With Me. Why? Because I decided to show up, because I decided to be my authentic self. So that opportunity came, and I've been featured in some other daily posts, and one of them is called Daily Post, you know. So right now what I do is I've called it Evolve because through the years I've evolved. And in 2020 I also organized a virtual conference called Evolve. So, and I thought that, you know what, really through the years I've grown, I've made mistakes, I've learned from my mistakes, I've unlearned certain things and I started to relearn. So I think the most important thing is not to take yourself too seriously. And you will make mistakes, but the good thing about mistakes, like I always say to myself now, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't know what to do next on right. So I decided to come up with this course titled or called Evolve, the Woman of Impact Visibility Method. So it's not just acquiring followers on Instagram or growing a big audience on LinkedIn or Facebook, but it's about getting clear on who you want to serve, what your message is, how you want to show up, what's your visual identity, what's your brand identity, and then how do you amplify your visibility on social media using the channels that your ideal clients and audience are. So right now it's an 8-week program. And the first couple of weeks, we deal with clarity and we really go down and nail that. Then we move into your visual identity, your brand identity. How do you want to show up? And for me, my brand is so strong and it's taking years to build that anyway. And right now, if I don't wear yellow, if I don't wear teal, everybody's like, what's happening? I was like, hey guys, those are my brand colors. I can still wear other colors, but I became recognizable. And that's what I'm teaching the women of faith right now. You also need to have a strong visual identity such that when they see anything from you, they know that it is you. And we talk about content creation. What kind of content should you put out? Because I realized that some people just put out content without any plan, without any depth to it, and then you're wondering, why are people not engaging with it? So that's how I'm helping them right now with Evolve, the Woman of Impact Brand Visibility Method. And I'm writing a book, Evolve, as well.
That is amazing. So you're so inspiring for sure, especially to me, because I'm kind of, in a place in my life where I'm getting older and I'm thinking like, how do I capitalize on all of this knowledge I've gained through all the years in my space? And how do I, what does that look like? What does older Monica's, life look like? And what is her brand? And what is, are all the things you're talking about? And I think that you and I could unpack a lot. Because there's a lot to talk about, and there were so many things in your talking points that I was like, aha. So number one, what I'm going to say is, if I just followed you this morning or yesterday, so on LinkedIn, and I'm going to follow your other channels as well. And then I really would recommend people to do that. And I want to learn more, obviously, and would love to have you back to dig more into where we're at. I know we have a limited amount of time today, unfortunately, because this could be a really cool, long conversation. But I saw that you are publishing your book, so that's going to release when?
I am hoping that it's released on the 28th of October, but yeah, we'll just see how that goes. Just going through the final stages. Yes.
Well, please shoot me a place where I can purchase it once you do that. And, we'll be able to update the listeners in our comments on this once it airs. But how is the best way for people to get in touch with you? If what you're talking about resonates with them, what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
Yeah, so I am Eloho Efemuai across all platforms. So you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram. I'm learning TikTok a bit.
You would be a great TikToker.
I know, my kids were like, Mom, you're on TikTok. I'm like, so?
And you're the mother of twins. So guys, this episode flew by because Eloho has so much to share with us. And I am just getting my interest piqued, right? So I want to know more. So we'll have you back on the show at a later date.
I would love to.
Maybe after your book comes out. But in the interim, I'm definitely going to follow along because I think I think we're similar in the way that perseverance is our mantra in a way where, we're not going to take no for an answer, and we are going to forge ahead and blinders on and just keep going and keep showing up. And I think that's the underlying message of today's episode is, you guys have heard me say it 101 times on these episodes. However, now you have another successful female telling you, it's showing up, it's that perseverance, it's that willpower to show up for yourself and be that for others, because you don't know who you're inspiring. You don't know who you're helping that day. And what a beautiful message. And so I think that we ran out of time, unfortunately, super fast, it felt like. However, thank you, Eloho, for coming on, because you have inspired me in such a short amount of time that I feel passionate and uplifted for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, for sure. So guys, please follow along. If there's any questions you have for Eloho, once this post, please put in the comments and we'll be happy to answer any questions or comments. And I definitely look forward to having you back on soon and probably maybe after the book launches.
Yes, yes, please.
Well, keep me in
Thank
the
you.
loop and shoot me an
I
email when it comes out because I'm
will.
excited to hear it. All
I
right,
will.
guys. Well, that concludes our episode today. And thank you for listening. And you guys have a fantastic week. Thanks.